1 year ago, the Canucks drafted Jonathan Lekkerimaki at 15th overall. At the time, he had slid down the rankings and it seemed like the Canucks got its deal. Well, now there's a few players the Canucks should have drafted ahead of that guy, and we're going to tell you about that next here on Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggsy, Canucks writer and part-time credential media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. And before we get into the episode, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. It's your team almost every day, okay? It's summer. We're taking a little easy, but your team almost every day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, again, Kyle, it's the dog days of summer. I got one stat that we're going to touch on later in Trevor's notes, which highlights how much it is the dog days of summer. But we are going to talk about Jonathan Lekkerimaki and the 2022 NHL draft today. Should the Canucks have drafted this guy? I don't know. I think there's a few players that should have been drafted ahead of Jonathan Lekkerimaki. Hindsight is everything, Kyle. But we're going to go fall down that rabbit hole today. But first and foremost, we didn't record on Monday. I didn't talk. I don't know if maybe I talked to you over the weekend. I don't remember. But I feel like it's been a while, buddy. How you doing?
I guess it has been a while. Things are different when we record on this schedule. We do see each other less, and everyone knows it, man. We started off as friends, but now we're just colleagues, man. So it's it's different out here, man. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggsy, Locked On Canucks, your team every day. And speaking of that, I did make an episode yesterday, but I didn't drop it because I got a fact wrong. Okay, and more on that in 20 minutes. We'll bring that up again in comment corner. Beggsy, how you doing though, man? How's life? Because right now you're scaring me, okay? You're telling me that we're making our debut this week on August 1st with Locked On Canucks, and you want to bring up something so irrelevant, okay? Something so dark. You just want to poop. How old is this guy? 19, 20 years old? Come on, man. Calling him a bust, potentially?
Whoa.
Unbelievable,
Okay.
Man. You know who's the bust? You're the bust. You're the bust, Trevor Beggsy. How's that feel?
I'm very happy as a busting man. That's for sure. I got to say,
you definitely know how to bust.
Bust a move. Woo, let's go.
Hey.
With Jonathan Lekkerimaki, though, I said it off the top. This guy was expected to be a top 10 pick in the NHL draft. 7 goals as a teenager. As an underager in 26 SHL games, pretty good stuff for the little dude. But yeah, Lekkerimaki, again, I think Alvin said it in that post-draft video. Like, they expected Lekkerimaki to be in the top 10. They had him on their board. I think it's 7th overall, it was reported. So yeah, at the time, it's like, okay, the Canucks got a steal. Do the Canucks need another undersized winger? And this goes back to the same debate that we had in this year's draft, okay? Undersized winger in Zach Benses versus positional lead in Tom Willander. You can make a similar argument for 2022 as well. The Canucks obviously believe Lekkerimaki was the best player available. But I'll tell you what, I know the guy had a rough season. I don't want to poop on that too much. But there's some guys that got drafted after him who are having even better seasons, okay? And that's just the way it goes. It's the beauty of hindsight. We're looking at drafts. I know we've talked about Podkolzin versus Matt Boldy and stuff like that on other episodes. But let's talk about 3 guys today drafted after Lekkerimaki, who the Canucks should have drafted instead, because these guys are starting to tear it up. So I'm just going to go down the pecking order here. When the Canucks got to 15th overall, 2 of the top names left on the board were Jonathan Lekkerimaki and Joakim Kemell. Okay, Joakim Kemell, another small Finnish winger. He's actually almost the exact same size as Lekkerimaki, a bit more speed to his game. But anyways, he went 2 picks later at 17th overall to the Nashville Predators. Do you know what this guy Joakim Kemell did this season when he came over to the AHL, Kyle?
I don't even want to know, man, because you're about to scare me, dude. You're about to scare everyone here, man. By the way, if you're listening to this and you don't want to feel down in an early August day, you can leave, okay? Because Trevor Beggsy is bringing out the darkness today, okay? Again, calling Jonathan Lekkerimaki a bust.
I'm not calling Lekkerimaki a bust. All I'm doing is holding Canucks management and their scouting staff accountable, okay? Because the city hasn't seen a winner ever. And I know the city wants a winner. You listen right now. You want a winner in this market. You want your team to make the right decisions, not the wrong one, which it looks like they might have made by drafting Jonathan Lekkerimaki. So Joakim Kemmel, okay, he spent most of last season over in Finland. He was playing in SM Liga before he got drafted, and then in his Draft Plus One season. So at the conclusion of his team season in Finland, I'm not even going to try to say his team's name. I think it was Yip. He comes over to the Nashville Predators AHL affiliate, the Milwaukee Admirals. So when he appears in the AHL, he starts off at the end of the season with 6 goals and 13 points in 14 games. Not bad for a young chap. I mean, think about it, right? We're talking about like Danila Klimovich. And I know he had a full season in the AHL, like after being drafted. But he had like 10 points, and we're all being like, oh, it's okay. It takes a long time to develop. It's hard. This guy, Joakim Kemmel, just comes in. He's a point a game player in the AHL. So not only that, he has 6 goals and 13 points in 14 games. In the playoffs, he has 8 goals and 10 points in 14 games.
Oh,
8 goals and 14 points in the 8 goals and 14 games in the AHL playoffs, man. Again, similar size, similar profile to Lekkerimaki, but I think the ceiling's looking a little higher right now on Joakim Kemmel.
dude, recency bias, man. It's a thing. It's a thing. And speaking of that, recency bias. I think some of us were a bit calmer with Lekkerimaki and how he ended off this season. So much so that the Canucks awarded him with an entry-level deal. Right? Have a little bit of cash. Do your thing, make your dreams come true. Blah blah blah. And that made me feel good. And then you just come out with the stats and the numbers about this other guy that the Canucks could have picked. But let's be honest, man. In hindsight, if that pick was made, I mean, I feel as if the Canucks would, like, the fans would be disappointed. But fast forward 2 years later, hindsight, oh man. Do you know there's one of the most popular / impactful entertainers coming out of the West Coast, the Best Coast, Vancouver? He's the homie. His name is Hindsight. He's got like millions of followers, and he's, he delivers perspective on the daily. And man, oh man, I feel as if after this episode, I got to listen to some of him, because you're making me feel pessimistic about Jonathan Lekkerimaki. And that's not a good thing, because this organization, we've talked about it for so long on this program already. Like, everything kind of needs to go right. And Lekkerimaki is a big part of that equation still. For us to, it is. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Look at it this way: the Canucks, despite being a rebuilding team, didn't have their first round pick in 2020, didn't have their first round pick in 2021. Jonathan Lekkerimaki was this team's first round pick in 3 years. That's a pick you want to get right. And I'm not going to say they're not getting it right, okay? I'm not calling Lekkerimaki a bust, despite what the thumbnail in this episode might look like if you clicked on it on YouTube. But just say there's some better guys so far, or guys who are trending upwards more so than him, who are drafted later on. So that includes number 2 on the list here, and it's a guy with one of the best names in the draft, Jimmy Snuggerud. What a name, man. What a name. So yeah, Jimmy Snuggerud. He was drafted 8 spots later at 23rd overall by the St. Louis Blues. Big right winger, big-ish right winger, plays with a bit of an edge, came out of the U.S. national development team. So in his rookie season at the University of Minnesota, this guy had 50 points in 40 games as a freshman. It's crazy to see these first-round picks now come into the league and, post like over a point a game in college hockey. I mean, offense is becoming a bigger part of today's game, but by all reports, Jimmy Snuggerud was an absolute play driver as a freshman for the University of Minnesota. So hats off to him. He was playing with some talented players there, but look at it this way. So Matthew Nyes, who just came out of the University of Minnesota, right into the Leafs lineup in the playoffs, he had 42 points in 40 games. Jimmy Snuggerud had 50 points in 40 games. So Snuggerud, a year younger, already looking like a better player than Matthew Nyes. And Matthew Nyes still had an impact for the Leafs in the NHL playoffs this year.
Holy, what a name, dude. Jimmy Snuggerud?
Snuggerud.
Oh,
Snuggerooski. Oh, I like it, man. There we go.
Snuggerud, man. Hey, man, shout out to people who are not rude, man. For real, man. I hate people who get mad at the people working at Tim Hortons. That's like the most anti-Canadian thing you can do. For real. It's the worst, man. I hate that stuff, man. It makes me so uncomfortable, and it makes me feel bad. Anyways, you want me to talk about this Jimmy guy? I've never heard of him. So we got to move on.
That's all right. That's all right. Let's go to number 3. And I'm going to pull up the picture here because this guy's jawline screams NHL player, man. Look at this guy right here. He's number 3 on the list. Drafted at 28th overall, Yuri Kulich. Can I hear something funny I noticed, actually, just going through this? Yuri Kulich, Joakim Kemmel, and Jonathan Lekkerimaki are all basically the same size. They're all listed at 5'11" and between 171 and 172 pounds. But both Kemmel and Coolidge play with like a bit more of an edge, a bit more speed to their game than Lekkerimaki, even though Lekkerimaki apparently has a bit more puck skills and whatnot. But yeah, Yuri Coolidge again comes over from he was playing in the Czech men's league when he got drafted, comes over to the AHL, and he's almost a point a game player. 24 goals, 46 points in
Dude.
62 games, and in the playoffs had 7 goals, 11 points in 12 games for the Buffalo Sabres AHL affiliate, the Rochester Americans. So again, that's 3 players drafted in the latter half of the first round, drafted after Lekkerimaki, who are trending way higher than he is right now. And again, Lekkerimaki had a rough season, injuries and whatnot. But he's arguably one of the most important prospects in the Canucks organization. And it's kind of frustrating to see multiple guys drafted after him who are having a lot of success. And there's some honorable mentions too. I didn't want to go too deep down the draft order, but like Lane Hudson drafted late second, early third round. He's having some crazy success right now. I don't think the Canucks would have drafted another like 5'8", 5'9" defenseman, but he's looking like a surefire first-round pick. And another undersized winger, Jordan Dumais, drafted by the Blue Jackets, had like 140 points in 69 games of the Quebec Major Junior League last season. So I didn't want to bring up those deep dives, just kind of looking more in the first round. But yeah, quite a few players drafted after Lekkerimaki are having success, man. It's got me uneasy, Kyle. I know it's August. I shouldn't feel uneasy. It's got me a little uneasy.
No, it makes sense because you're seeing like professional American numbers, pile up for some of these guys who are picked after Jonathan Lekkerimaki, and that makes me feel a little uneasy too. You know what else makes me feel a little uneasy, man? The fact that it took us 9 minutes to point out that our guy, right, the guy that we should be loyal to, who's also a young chap, his parents may be watching this video. He went through it. He was hurt.
Yeah.
Illness. Did he have a concussion too? Am I correct on that? Like, I don't know, man. I'm just throwing out things to make myself feel a little bit better about this guy. But
he had injuries. He was dealing with mono. Yeah, it was a bit of a rough year for him. It wasn't smooth. And he ended on a high. I mean, like I said, I hope Lekkerimaki proves us wrong. And
proves you wrong. Proves you wrong. Okay, come on, man. Kyle Bowen is a big Jonathan Lekkerimaki fan. I'm naming my son Lekkerimaki. Okay.
Wow.
For real.
Wow. First name Lekkerimaki Bowen.
Dude, think about that, man. Lekkerimaki Bowen. Are you serious, dude?
Wow.
Bro, he'll be pulling, bro. Nah, man, straight up. I still have a lot of faith in this guy because I have to, man. Heading into this season, I just want everything to go right for the Vancouver Canucks. And I know that's so, like, it's ironically a bit of an irrational way to think for sure, like being this optimistic. But man, I just want the best for the West Coast. And I have to I can only attach myself to what Lekkerimaki did at the end of the season because of how he bounced back after, the slow start and the injuries and the mono. And it's how you finish, right? It's not how you start. It's how you finish, Beggsy. For real. For real. And I'm going to latch onto that. It's real stuff. That shows a lot of character. And the Canucks, again, awarded him with the deal. I don't know if that was just some PR stunt to make us all feel a bit better about Lekkerimaki, or they got to play it safe, eventually sign him anyways. But there was a lot of feel good energy around the pick towards the end of the year. Okay, if you watched a bit of Chris Faber's Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it, why did Elon Musk call the app X? Why is that happening? Everyone hates their ex, and if you don't, you're not loyal to the one you're with right now, man. For real, man. I don't know how people can be friends with their ex. Anyways, why are you naming that app X? Well, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Faber. Faber tweeted a bit about Lekkerimaki throughout the year. In the beginning, a little not pessimistic, but just telling the truth. And it was down. It was awkward. It was unsettling. But towards the end, it was like, damn, this guy's got it. He's doing it in the playoffs as well, which is big. Let's mention that, Beggsy, right? You crossed that off your notes, right? Come on, you dark guy, bro. Come on, man. I know we're doing YouTube videos a lot, and I know that if it bleeds, it leads, right? That's what they teach you in journalism school, right? If it bleeds, it leads. But Beggsy, man, what are your morals, dude? What are your morals, bro? You're a father, bro. Okay.
I'm just pointing out the cold hard numbers here, buddy. That's all. And I'm going to point out some more cold hard numbers here as we take an ad break because I got to shout out FanDuel. Okay, take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you could spend betting everything from the money line to the over/under to who you think is going to hit the first home run. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
By the way, before we get back to the show, I got to remind you again that every episode of Locked On Canucks will be available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcatcher at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all. Again, every episode of Locked On Canucks at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all. Let's get back to the show.
Okay. We back on Locked On Canucks. It's your team every day. Man, oh man. It takes me quite a bit. I'm not going to lie. You know, when we take these like multiple day breaks from doing episodes, it takes me a little bit to get back into the swing of things, like 15 minutes at least. So I'm really excited for the second half of this show. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, Locked On Canucks. Hit the subscribe button and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. One love,
100%.
man. One love to the listeners, man. For real, man. And one love to you, Trevor. I know I called you out. I call you out multiple times on the program just because I'm trying to, look out for you, man. Accountability is a big thing. And I know life's moving quick and you're probably in 7 different places at once. And someone's got to keep you aligned, okay? Someone's got to keep you aligned. And I just want you to be happy. So I hope that you find time today to go for a walk and just be optimistic about all the things you love, which, should include some of these Canucks prospects, okay? For real.
Yeah, 100%. And who knows? Maybe I'll go on my walk and I'll listen back to us talk. And maybe I'll reflect on my takes from this episode today. But I don't know if I have any takes here because this is just my notes, man, presented by you. So it's all on you, buddy. Don't blame me. Don't blame the note guy.
Okay, let's get into it. Trevor's notes. Okay, the first note that I see Trevor writing down on this section of our doc folder is about what? Ethan Bear getting married and no Canucks there. What is this, a soap opera, Trevor? Come on, man. This is a note.
Hey, you know what? There could have been. I'm diving into the deep spot of my notebook for some August stuff, but this was in the news recently from Narcity. Former Canuck Ethan Bear got married at Okanagan Lake. Beautiful spot, parallel 50 winery, 50th parallel state winery. And they reported from the Instagram post that there was a few NHL players there, like Matt Barzal was there, Jujhar Khaira was there. Is Jujhar Khaira signed, by the way? Actually, is he still a free agent? Anyways. There was also Riley Stillman, a former Vancouver Canuck, now with the Buffalo Sabres, and Keegan Colasar of the Vegas Golden Knights. So, there could have been some Canucks there, but according to this article, it's like none of his most recent teammates were there except for Riley Stillman. So,
that's okay.
I don't know. Take from that what you will.
That you know what? It's okay. It's all love. No, for real, man, because this is so personal and you just want your people there, and I'm okay with that. It's all good. And Ethan Bear's not even a Canuck right now, so this is kind of irrelevant. But I do want to ask you a question, okay? So, again, weddings must be super stressful, okay, for sure. And a big part of that stress has to be put on the invite list. So, how hard was it for you not to invite a couple people based on, capacity and / just overall thinking about it? It's like we're not that close. This is a really intimate moment. I don't need people here that are like 50-50 on the friends list / close list. So knowing you and your girl, for real, you guys are genuine, big-hearted people, for real. How hard was that?
You know what? So the way we did it, we got married in Revelstoke, BC, right? Which is a bit of a trek for anyone to get to. So we figured that we'd invite a bunch of people, but the people who really wanted to come would make the trek, right? Like my wife's from Ontario, so a lot of people came out and made like a week or 2-week-long trip of it. And even for people on the coast, it's a 6-hour drive from the coast to Revelstoke. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was, I think just the location helped weed people out themselves. We had 90 to 100 people at our wedding. Like it was a perfect amount in my opinion. So I think I have a super small family too. So it's not like, I know I have a friend getting married right now and she got like 40 cousins and they all have like offsprings and kids. And she's like, I had to selectively pick cousins to come to the wedding. I don't have that problem. My family's tiny, bro.
Well, even on that note, when I get tied up and I'm with a Punjabi girl right now. I'm assuming only good things that she's the one. So down the road when we tie the knot, we having a big old bash. I think there's like some sort of expectation from the top, from the parents and whatnot, that there's going to be 700 people at this wedding. But it's like, dude, I'm cutting out like 600 of those people, man, for real.
Oh,
It's not
100%.
even it's not
Yeah.
even a money thing. It's not even like a cost per play because again, the network's going to be making me $30 million a year. Money's not going to be a problem. Blah blah blah. It's more just of it being like an intimate thing. You just want to experience it and share it with everyone. That's not necessarily like involved in your relationship because your relationship's with two people, but just like just your people, man. That's a
Yeah.
great moment. And
Yeah.
you want Anyways, your wedding
It,
though,
it, get,
like
it
legit.
gets.
It was great. It was perfect. When you say
Oh, dude.
the amount of people, and I'm going back to it, I'm like, dude, you had the perfect amount of people there / the perfect people in general.
Yeah, man. No, I feel blessed for sure, and I'm biased, but I think like the best one I've ever been to is my own wedding.
There you go.
It was a
That's
fucking.
cool.
Okay, I gotta bleep that out. My bad. It was a party though, man. It was an absolute
No,
party.
you can say that, man. You can say that. Trevor, shut up though. Okay, it's not a Trevor Begg show. Okay, it's a Canuck show. Can you just shut up? Come on, man.
You
Let's
got me
get back.
reminiscing, man.
I know, man. It's okay. Okay, so you also wrote a note. I don't know if you've been thinking about this more, but I'm curious to see where you're going to take this one. Ian Cole playing the right side. Have you done more research, and what's making you write this one down?
So Canucks Army did some research on this one. So shout out
Okay.
to Stephen Roger at Canucks Army. But he basically went through Ian Cole's career and like who his partners were and how much he's played the right side. So I guess bad news was last season alongside Eric Chernak, his main partner in Tampa, he played the left side and did well in those minutes, but it was mainly playing their left side. In limited minutes, did not play well on the right side with Tampa. So that's the bad. The good is that he's played a lot of right side in his NHL career and he's done well, including, basically his first 5 seasons in the NHL, according to the article. He played on the right side alongside some of the Blues defensemen like Barrett Jackman. That's a throwback right there. That's how long this guy has been in the league for. But so Cole has played a lot of right side. He's had a lot of success earlier in his NHL career, just didn't play a lot of right side and have a lot of success there last year.
There you go. You heard it there. Not a lot of success. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay? I don't think it's going to happen. There's one more note here, and I'm pretty sure I got to press this button because I know Trevor knows the answer, but I don't. So I'm going to press the button. Let's get into Trevor's trivia.
Trevor's trivia starts now.
Okay, you wrote down that the Canucks have not made an acquisition in August since 2015. And I don't know if you were going to ask me this question, but I'm going to ask myself the question. What was that acquisition? And I'm going to say it was the Brandon Sutter thing. Is that correct? Or
Ooh. So you want to know the Canucks' last acquisition in August of 2015?
yeah, like what was it?
Sorry, I spoiled it. Yeah, it was August of 2015. You're so close. Brandon Sutter was signed in August of 2015, but it wasn't the last transaction the Canucks made in August.
Ooh,
I don't think
okay.
you're gonna get this. This is a toughie.
Is it like involving a pick or something, or like a relevant?
No,
Is
it
it?
involves signing a depth player. Can you name that depth fourth liner who was signed in August of 2015?
Oh man, no,
Great name, BC native, big guy, signed to signed to be AHL depth, played some NHL games with the Canucks.
I don't know, man. I actually don't know. Who was it?
On August 26, 2015, the Canucks signed Adam Cracknell to a 1-year deal worth $575,000. That was the last time
Adam
the Canucks made a
Cracknell.
transaction in August. Yeah, Adam Cracknell.
Wow. What a polarizing episode, okay? Jonathan Lekkerimaki, he's a bust. Nobody went to Ethan Bear's wedding. The guy's not even on the Canucks, and now we just spent some time talking about Adam Cracknell. It's August, baby. Okay? Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, Locked On Canucks. We're still going to have some fun. Let's get to Comment Corner on the other side. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We're sending you love. And yeah, let's get to the other side. Okay, we back here on Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen. If you're a family member listening to this and you may think you're not going to make the wedding invitee list for my wedding in 8 years, 7 years, there's a chance that you're not getting invited. Okay, if you're thinking that way, you're probably not getting invited. It is what it is,
Which,
man.
which is
F the
which is funny because if this is your first time listening to Locked On Canucks, Kyle's basically said that all the OG listeners of Locked On Canucks are invited. So take that,
dude.
Kyle's
They
family.
matter, man. They matter. Okay, Trevor, man. Okay, come on, man. Come on, man. Do your friends make your dreams come true, or
Trevor.
do the listeners and the viewers? Okay, we're only living the dream
That's
because
true.
of them.
That's true.
Okay.
Yep.
Speaking of them, comment corner start now, and man, oh man, this one has me thinking.
Welcome to Comment Corner, powered by Paraphrasing.
This comment comes from Ted.
Brothers, I'm thinking Pettersson signs for 8 years at $80 million. Thoughts?
Trevor, I gotta say this: if Pettersson takes a discount, something that I've been saying he won't do this time around, but if he does, in order to leave some money on the table for that long, too, 8 years. 8 years, that's a long time for him to take money off the table. If he does it, though, for the betterment of our city, not just the team, but our city, and the morale and the opportunity and the increase in hope that we would have, because again, more money to spend elsewhere, we could be a better team. If he does all that for us, when it's time to get my raise, my worth from my team over here in the studio and on Locked On, I'm going to say it straight up. I'm going to say, nah, leave some money on the table for the team. Straight up, leave some money for all of us. I don't need all of that. If Pettersson does it, I'm going to do it too. And Trevor Beggs, I hope you say the same thing.
Oh yeah, Pettersson does it. I would do it too. Of course. I'm not sure
There you
what
go,
exactly
dude.
that means. Am I taking a pay cut at my job just so we can hire
No,
more
no,
people?
not a pay
Is that
cut.
the
Not a
mentality?
pay cut. Let's say your boss comes up to you and is like, Trevor, I don't know how much you get paid, but let's say he's like, you know what? We're gonna bump you up to $75 an hour. Okay, $75 an hour. And you're just like, you know what, boss? Make that $65 an hour, and that $10 an hour that we save, let's get some better coffee. Let's get the best coffee in the building, okay? Let's put an espresso machine in everyone's office. That's the type of way I'm thinking, okay? You get what I'm saying? So would you be down to do
Yep,
that
I
for
hear
your
you.
workforce?
If Pettersson does it, I'll do it. Are you
Yeah,
asking me if I
there you
think
go.
Pettersson's going to do that? Because I don't.
No, I don't. I don't think he's gonna do it. But if he
Yeah,
does, for our city,
I like the wish. Yeah, I like the wishful thinking from our commenters, and shout out to commenting as always here on Comment Corner. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. And I know I've heard the argument from Harpoon and some other commenters out there that Pettersson's got to take less for this team to be a winner. And that while that can be true, he's also worth $11.5 million based on market value. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
we'll see what happens. And if there's a team that needs, players to take a bit less because of that the OE hell impact coming in a couple years, it's the Vancouver Canucks. It's just the
Oh,
truth.
man.
It's just the truth. We need players to exceed their contract value and just in general exceed expectations. Speaking of which, before we leave, I want to show you these Kuzmenko highlights from Thailand, okay, here on Locked On Canucks. Trevor, we just saw that. And I just challenge you to, to take less from your boss in order for your employees to have better coffee every day. And now I'm going to challenge you again, okay? On the last day of September, listen to this, Trevor. Are you listening? On the last day of September, you and I are going to have a push-up challenge, okay? We're going to try getting to 100 push-ups in a row. Because if the Vancouver Canucks and their players are putting on for the city, going to show up in the best shape of their lives in September, then we got to do the same thing, man. We got to put that energy out there too, man. We can't just put that on them and then look at ourselves in the mirror and say, are we doing the most with our fitness? So, Trevor, on the last day of September, a 100 push-up challenge, okay? In theory, it's going to be how many push-ups can you do in a row? And the goal is to get to 100. And I believe in you. If you start now, it's like 60 days. 60 days. You can get to 100 push-ups in a row.
Let's see how it goes, buddy. And by the way, Kuzmenko was in Bali, not Thailand. Got to throw that out there. The last thing I got to throw out is you and I got to do the gross grind together in August. Okay, let's make sure we're both under an hour, but a little competition to see which member of Locked On Canucks can get up the gross grind faster. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win.
Okay. Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. And yeah, just in general, it's just not a Trevor and Kyle thing. How about you get into the best shape of your life? Can I say that in 2023? Is that too harsh of a thing to say these days? Am I shaming
man,
people?
it's all
No,
good.
I'm just saying, we expecting it from the Canucks. You cheering for the Canucks. You you do the same. Anywho, Trevor, sign us out.
All right. Shout out to the everydayers, the occasional listeners. And if this is your first time listening, hey, you must need some hockey talk in August. And guess what? We're here for you because it's Locked On Canucks. It's your team every day, even though we're 3 days a week right now. Sometimes 4, though, maybe even 5. We'll see how we feel. Coming up later this week, I wanted to get into Patrick Alvin's draft history, okay? This guy came from a scouting background. Was he actually good at scouting? We're going to find out, and we're going to let you know on another episode here on Locked On Canucks.